Hey everyone, welcome to Torvin. Today's story is a heavy one. It's about a mother who walked away from her family for a completely different life in the adult industry. This is our very first video, so if you're new here, consider subscribing. It means a lot and helps this channel grow. All right, let's dive in. My mother, 52 female, had cheated and left me 27 male in our family to work in the adult industry, and now wants to come back and be my mom again. To give some context, my dad's 67 male used to travel a lot to work and stay weeks away. So he and my mother had an agreement where they had an open marriage. Don't know the details, but she was the only one that slept with other people. This happened to most of my childhood, as I can remember her leaving at night to go to clubs and parties, sometimes taking days to come back and neglecting me. And my brother, C.I., learned how to get groceries and cook when I was 8, so me and my brother would not starve. When I was around 13, my parents started fighting since apparently she had broken the deal in some way. My dad found out about the neglect, and she started going into the adult industry. They separated, and for years I had no contact with my mother. I sent her texts and emails, some that even popped up as she had seen it, but she never replied, so one day I just gave up trying to contact her. I managed to stay in contact with some people from her side of the family, but a lot of them began hating on us, saying that we were too harsh on her, that we never supported her, that she did well leaving us, and gradually I also cut contact with them as well. She started working in the adult industry and got pretty famous in my country, got a lot of money, and I stopped using any NSFW websites as she was on the top pages of all of them. I gladly suffered 0 to no bullying in high school because of it, as there were no ways of connecting her to me, and most of my friends that knew my mother didn't know it was her. She had dyed her hair, done a few surgeries and stuff. Well, I moved on with my life, joined the army, and I'm pretty well now. However, a year ago, out of nowhere, she found me on social media and began to message me, asking how I was, commenting on how much I had grown up, and trying to do some small talk. I just replied with one words, and even stopped replying once my nerve got the best of me. Apparently, she has retired, and after feeling an overwhelming remorse throughout her entire life, decided to contact us again. My brother was also careful, but essentially accepted her back. He was always close to her. My father is cordial with her, but only that. She has also asked her entire part of the family for help, as I began being bombarded with messages and calls from both those that criticized and supported me and my dad. I made it clear that I do not want anything with her, but they just keep on it, saying that she is remorseful, that she did a mistake but wants to make it right, that she has come back for us, etc. More recently, she somehow found out where I live, and I've been receiving random gifts at my doorstep with messages that were clearly hers. Things like a basket of chocolate that I liked when I was little, expensive clothes. She got my size wrong on all of them, lol. Flowers when my cat passed away, and even a very expensive hiking kit. I messaged her a few times to say that I don't want any of that, but she just pretends she doesn't know what I'm talking about, or just says she thought of me at that moment. I made it clear time and time again that I don't want anything to do with her, but she still persists, saying that she can be my mom again now, and stuff like that. I don't know what else to say, so advices are more than welcome. Now, let's take a look at some of the comments. I feel like maybe her funds are drying up. I can't exactly see someone hiring an ex-adult film star, and I know there's a lot of stars who don't actually get paid that much. There was a popular star who ended up front page of most sites, but only ended up earning roughly 7 grand, and in the end, could only get a job as a gamer streamer. She might be buying you expensive stuff, or she could be getting someone else to buy it. The question you have to ask yourself is, do you remember any good memories with her? And would you be willing to make new ones? But it could end in a similar way. And here's how the OP responded. I also thought that was the case when she first came back, but apparently she is very well financially. From what I heard, she didn't stay just acting, but also doing investments and stuff. Can't say to not expose myself, and honestly, because I don't know the details, but she bought a huge house on the spot and even offered to repay my dad for what he spent on me and my brother. So I'm pretty sure money is not a problem for her. All right, that's the story. Now here's just my take on it. Look, he doesn't owe her anything just because she's ready now. She wasn't there for years. She left him basically raising himself, and money and tears don't erase that. Wife had been flirting with her coworker. She said she would stop, but it just happened again. Is there any future in this relationship? My wife and I have been married for slightly more than 3 years now. Last Christmas, I found she had been having a long conversation with a coworker of hers in which they talked about having been intimate multiple times and that they couldn't wait for the next one. The guy said he was going to book a hotel near their office right after Christmas. In this conversation, when he said he was looking forward to seeing my wife, she would reply with things like, I'm looking forward to much more than just seeing you. It's Sarah, you get the idea. Overly flirty and inappropriate. When I confronted my wife, she denied the conversation existed. After deleting it, she showed me her phone to prove it didn't exist. But I had taken a few pictures. She then said it was all virtual and that they never did anything in real life. To prove she was right, she messaged her coworker in front of Mead, asking if he had booked the place, and he replied, not yet. She then asked if he was really expecting them to meet, to which he replied negatively. She promised they would never talk again, and I agreed simply because I love her a lot and wanted to trust her. But in my mind, I wasn't completely sure she had been honest. For a few weeks, I must admit, I checked her phones a few too many times, so she changed her password, which I was fine with because I was probably being too paranoid. This week, I picked her phone up because I needed a code that had been sent to her phone number. I didn't even need to unlock the screen to get it. To my surprise, under the message with the code there were other messages from the same guy. One of them was an audio. The second one was a shirtless photo of himself in front of a mirror, and the third one said, sweaty. And a few emojis with the tongue. I confronted her since she had promised they wouldn't talk ever again. And she said he just wanted to show her going to the gym to show progress. But that the rest of the times they talk, it's just about work, and that this is just a coincidence. I asked her to show me the rest of their messages, but she said she had mistakenly deleted their conversation history. My wife says she's going to change this time, and that I never really forgave her, and that's why she kept talking to the guy. She says this time she's really going to stop, but I have a hard time believing it. Or even if she does stop, I fear when things don't go so well between us, she'll do it again. I really love her, but can't keep living like this. Is there any situation in which this can work? What would you do? A few days later, the OP came back with an update. Update, you were right. I ignored every single one of your comments and eventually caught my wife with the other man. This is a tough pill to swallow, and I can't say I hadn't been warned. This is my previous post. Many folks asked me to follow up with an update, so here it is, fresh from the oven. After reading every single comment of the Reddit post, my brain just couldn't overcome the catastrophe and the collapse of the world I had built for me, in which my wife is my love, my best friend and partner, as well as the person I admire the most. She was entirely perfect and made me happy for many years. I thought no couple in the world could have what we had. We were both very happy for a long time. We were both attractive. We were both inherently good, had big hearts, and were individually wildly successful in our careers. After the Reddit post, I moved to an Airbnb and eventually with family to think things through. It was a terrible time, but a psychologist helped me recover from a terrible mental state. It coincided with a pandemic hitting very hard in my city. Caught the virus, which didn't help. During this time, we kept talking, and my wife was very sorry and continued saying they hadn't met. I knew it wasn't true, but was willing to forgive the woman of my dreams, who continued being in the highest altar of my universe. Fast forward to last Saturday morning, I went back to our place ready to forgive her and talk things through in the most mature way possible. And well, there she was, but I was the one who received the biggest surprise, to say the least. The guy was in my house undressed, and so was my wife. The guy from the messages, the guy from the photos, the one she said she didn't even like. I found him hiding in my bathroom while my wife was putting her pajamas on. When I saw him there, he simply said, "Sorry, dude." For a second, I asked myself, is this where I lose control? But I instantly replied, I got nothing against you, because the guy was simply involved with this woman, even if it was happening in a house full of pictures of me. Pictures of our wedding and our families. Pictures of my late father, who would have been heartbroken to see how the marriage he never got to witness was going to end. He has always been the reason I try to make the world a better place. He passed away 2 months before our wedding. I'm sorry. I still love her deeply, but I understand enough is enough. Even if my world collapses, I hope I can build a new one without lies, and in which I'm not just a blind believer under an altar of a fake God. Godspeed. Now, let's take a look at some of the comments. I wish you happiness from this day forward. You greatly earned it. I'm sorry you had to find out in the worst way possible. However, I'm extremely proud of you for not beating the guy into a bloody pulp. You were the more mature and bigger person here. File for divorce if you can prove her infidelity, so she can't pull anything over on you, since she's a professional liar. Best of luck, and may you find true love or a dog. And here's how the OP responded. Or a dog. Well, made my day. I love dogs.
And with that, we've reached the end of today's stories. Honestly, some of these were pretty wild, and I'd love to hear what you think. Which story stood out to you the most? Who do you think was in the wrong? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more confession threads, relationship stories, revenge stories, and other crazy Reddit posts, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It genuinely means a lot. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.